Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. Record this about 6:30 in the evening, Pacific time on October 2nd. One day after the VP debates, and the same day that Jack Smith's 180-page new indictment got released by Tanya Chutkan with some redactions. And I spent the last half an hour listening to Lady Di on TikTok read through the indictment with all its redactions and occasionally noting who CC2 or CC1 is and stuff like that. It's informative, but does require a lot of attention. I can't work and listen at the same time. But I think we found our October surprise, or at least one of them is Tanya Chutkan dropping this. Now, technically, this would not be an October surprise because it's a political body that would release that. You know, the Democrats would be sitting on Trump information to release. The Republicans would be sitting on Harris information that they would release. But this is kind of more of a spiritual October surprise. And I'm pretty darn sure that on the Twin Tarot channel I do with my brother Gary, we were reading on this one a few days, well, last week is when we read on it, but it went up a few days ago, and it's got a picture of like a pumpkin, a scary pumpkin on the thumbnail. And we were talking about what's the October surprise, and we're going through it, and I just had like this duh moment. Said, oh, dude, it's the January 6th stuff. And it was. So I don't always get them right, but sometimes I do. All right, but let's take a look and see the energy around Judge Chutkan dropping this information for all of us to see, watching how Trump and his lieutenants were trying to strong-arm people into changing the results of the election. The one that last night, J.D. Vance couldn't say that Donald Trump lost. He's not allowed to. He doesn't have permission. Okay. Let's look at that energy, and then we'll dig down and see how it's going to impact people. All right? Entertainment purposes only. Let's take a look. All right. How is this going to impact the energy around this information drop with January 6th? Well, it is opening day. Here we go. No, literally, here we go. The information is now out there for the public to see, and it really depends on how much they want to pay attention, but it's there now. It's going to be reported on. Crossed with the Nine of Wands, and there's more to come. This isn't, oh, look at all this fire energy. They're looking forward, next steps, and dreading the next steps. This is the energy around this is not good for those who would perpetrate actions to cause an overturning of the election. It's out there for people to see. There's more to come. The fallout is coming, and get prepared. So I don't know what that is, but there's a lot of energy around it. In the past, you have the Six of Swords. The Supreme Court sure did their job. They put this case on ice for 8 to 10 months or something like that. I think it was December that Judge Chutkan had to slow things down because the Supreme Court wanted to rule on things, which they did on the very last day that they could rule on things, and then basically said, presidential immunity and all that. So one of the things that came out of it, and I believe it was even Amy Coney Barrett that suggested this, is that, you could hold a hearing to determine which evidence to determine if the evidence is presidential immunity or not, which is what's happening now. Trump got a reprieve, but now all the evidence is out, and guess what? It's coming out 5 weeks before the election. That, by definition, is an October surprise, and it truly is on the first day of October, and I don't think we're done yet. Now, again, as I said, this is not really an October surprise from a political point of view, but from a spiritual political point of view, it absolutely is. Current situation is the Three of Coins. Now comes some of the damage control, but I think really what you're seeing here is the secret testimony's been unsealed, and we get to see who the players were and what they were doing behind the scenes in the events that led up to the insurrection. Overarching energy is the Six of Coins. One of the things I was struck when listening to Lady Di read through the indictment were how many people were trying to convince Donald Trump that he lost the election and to take the loss with grace. Mike Pence said, you took a dying party and you revitalized it. A number of people said, hey, I voted for you. I voted for you twice. I'm just as disappointed as you are that you didn't win. But we have to accept these losses and move on. Donald Trump couldn't be convinced to do it. As a matter of fact, he went out of his way to surround himself with people who would only tell him what he wants to hear. Rudy Giuliani being one of them. So this is that opportunity where people were being very charitable with him. He is a 70-something-year-old man at the time. He has to be able to learn to take his losses, but he's not. He's a child. He's a 3-year-old child having a temper tantrum, and a bunch of adults in the room said, "There. You're a brave little boy. You will get him in 2024." And he just had a tantrum. Actually, Pence even said, you could always run again in 2024, and Trump said, that seems so far off. Well, here we are. Lesson to be learned is the Five of Coins. This is trying to prevent people from getting their votes heard, their voices heard. The callous disregard for the democratic process is going to be on full display with this January 6th insurrection documentation. The parts I've heard, that's pretty much the theme. Trump didn't care. He doesn't care what the Constitution says. He doesn't care about norms. He doesn't care about the voice and the will of the people. He only cares about him having all the money, and then giving, whether it's paper towels in Puerto Rico or throwing a $100 bill at a lady in a grocery store. He wants to be the guy in charge dispensing things. The outcome is the Queen of Swords. Yeah, it's there for everybody to see. I'm sure the Fox and Friends and these folks will not cover it or make up excuses or something, but any other legitimate news source should be covering this, unless, of course, corporate media and legacy media don't want to because they're too busy trying to get Donald Trump elected. But I'm wondering, between Trump's declining mental faculties, J.D. Vance's inability to acknowledge that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, and now this dropping for everybody to see, will the American oligarchs start getting cold feet? Will the American news media start getting cold feet with regards to Donald Trump? I caught a little bit of Marianne's of Revealing Like Tarot's video that she put up this afternoon, where she was concerned about Trump's health with all the pressure and things getting worse. So, between Libby and Gary and myself and just about everybody else, we'll see. We'll see. Again, do not discount the fact that that man has had many strokes. He has had many strokes, and we've seen the repercussions from them. He may not have had one last night or this morning, but that doesn't mean he hasn't had them. It's just he hasn't had the big one. Where's Fred Sanford? The big one, Elizabeth. Okay, that's a heart attack, but still, you get the idea. Okay, so the energy around this is not good, and it's going to get worse. Now, for Donald Trump, how is this going to impact his ability to win this election? the release of this latest information from the Jack Smith January 6th. How is this going to impact his ability to win this election? And there's the problem. Same card as the cross the last time, the Nine of Wands. More damage coming. This, he's barely holding on as a candidate, and I think we've got more damage coming from some attorney generals, either in the states or the Merrick Garland attorney generals. There are more charges coming Donald Trump's way. Don't forget, we also have Judge Merchan waiting in the wings, but that's not for another 8 weeks from now or so. It's 3 weeks after, 5 weeks to the election, and it's 3 weeks after the election. But I think there's more legal stuff coming for Donald Trump. And underneath it all, look at all this fire energy. Good heavens. Underneath it all, we've got the Hillbilly Brawl card. It's going to be more revelations from the insurrection. Maybe this could be Judge Chutkan on this one. But there's going to be more stuff coming out about the insurrection. Maybe as people read through this document more and reporters start connecting pieces for people, they're going to convey that message. But there's even more stuff coming on this one. Again, in the past, the Four of Swords, just like that Six of Swords, going from calmer waters to choppy waters to calmer shores. In the past, we had the Four of Swords where this case was asleep. And it's coming out. And Donald Trump, his campaign has lost a lot of energy. He peaked. He peaked too soon. He hit his zenith in early mid-July with the Pew Pew incident. And it's been nothing but downhill for him ever since. He's not been able to get the narrative back. The only time people are talking about him is when he's saying that immigrants in Charleston, Ohio are eating the dogs and eating the cats. It's just craziness. How is this going to impact his election? I guess also we've been waiting for this to come out. Now people are going to need to make decisions because the information's out. You can't ignore it. You've been ignoring it for a while. Just pretend it's not there and it goes away. Well, it's out in your face now. Now you can either be willfully ignorant or not. It's a choice here. That's a beautiful card. Overarching energy is justice. I believe with that combo here, people that were waiting and seeing on this insurrection case, who watched the mayhem at the Capitol and knew who was in charge of it, now they need to make their decision, and we're having hearings to show his culpability with this, following the guidelines of the Supreme Court. The lesson to be learned is the Ten of Coins, the legacy. Trump's legacy. For all the god-awful things he did in his presidency, his biggest legacy is going to be his refusal to peacefully transfer power. That's his legacy. And now people are going to understand that. All the information is out there. You can consume as little or as much as you want, but don't pretend that it's not there. You can't just cover your ears and go, la, 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 I didn't see it. Because then you're covering your ears so you didn't hear it. You've got eyes, you can read it. Out comes the Seven of Cups. In life, we have to take the good with the bad. Donald Trump doesn't live in our reality. He never takes the bad. He always fights the bad. Says the bad should never have happened. He's just a victim. But people need to vote with their integrity. And people will vote with their integrity. Not everybody. Not everybody. You have to remind yourself that MAGA are in a cult. They are in the not the throes, but they're they're under his spell. And it's difficult to get out of cults. It takes other cult members leaving and maybe taking some people with them. Ones that are starting to have doubts. And this is just going to be yet another another checkpoint, another data point in people moving away from Trump. It's not going to be a lot. At least not initially. It'll take time. But, again, the information is out there. And that's, for months, when I've been reading on this, and like, is he going to be convicted? Is he going to go to prison? And like, I don't know. I just have a hard time picturing him ever actually seeing the inside of a prison cell. And the Supreme Court decision on this, was livid. But, I had to keep recalibrating that it doesn't matter if he's found guilty or not. What we wanted was for the information to get out to the voting public. And that way they can make an informed decision when they go to the ballot box. That's what we just got with the release of this information. We got the information out there. Now it's up to people to listen to it. You can't force them to, unfortunately. Wouldn't that be nice? If we could do that, we'd have pulled them out of Earth 2 a long time ago, and we wouldn't be going through all this mess. But, free will. You can be as dumb as you want to be, I suppose. As deluded as you want to be. And, if you're into objective truths, here you go. For Carter, will Trump lose enough votes that he's not competitive? That's not, how do I want to phrase this? He's going to lose votes. And I don't want to just say who's going to lose the election, because that's, he is. But, and Marianne had asked this. It's like, does he lose enough votes that the election is not close between Kamala Harris and himself? And I think I want to go with that as well. Does Kamala Harris gain enough votes or Trump lose enough votes or some combination of the two that this election is not close? Let's see. By the way, Marianne said, no, this election unfortunately will still be close, and I don't discount that. It just seems like we're not getting the lesson. Not enough people are waking up, so the torture continues until enough people wake up. Will there be enough? Will this be a landslide for Kamala Harris, Queen of Cups? No, I think it's still close. It's just, part of it is people are just unwilling to let go. Emotionally, they can't handle this. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm as frustrated as you are. I'm tired of this. But that's what I'm getting. That's a card of, trying to hold things together. Cross with the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, it helps. Jack, honestly, it helps. Jack Smith has done his job. Judge Chutkan has done her job. It's up for us to do our job. The information is out there for those who wish to consume it. Things would be made a lot easier if Fox News, Fox Entertainment that is, OAN and Newsmax actually covered the news as opposed to being propaganda channels. But they aren't. And in my fantasy world, I'd like a pony too. But I'm not in my fantasy world, and I don't get to have a pony. I really don't want a pony. I want a puppy. Okay, so the question is, will this cause for a landslide election? It's just like, no, it's still going to be close. Things are working. I think this is just another spin on the wheel advantage Kamala Harris here. Two of Wands in the past, now waiting for the election to come, waiting for this information to drop. Current situation is the Nine of Swords. People are so anxious about this election, and who can blame them? It's only your democracy at stake. It's only your rights as a woman. It's only your rights as a minority or a person who's non-cis in their sexuality. Yeah, what's there to worry about, No stress. But, who's stressing out? Donald Trump is stressing out. Anybody who's close to him, supporting him, is stressing out. Oligarchs, conservative oligarchs are stressing out because they've cast themselves with Donald Trump, and that's a losing ticket here. Overarching energy is the Knight of Swords. You know, it's kind of funny. Ask if this is a blowout. And know what I'm getting with this, because I'm trying to figure out, okay, is something going to change quickly? Is somebody riding to our rescue? And it's like, oh crap, riding to our rescue. How many times? I'm sorry, I'm going to pontificate. Go refill your coffee. How many times have we looked for somebody to rescue us? Whether it was leaders of the Democratic Party, leaders in the House of Representatives, leaders in the Senate, the Supreme Court, the legal community through lawsuits, the Attorney General. You know, we've looked to all these offices, the intelligence agencies, all these offices, all these positions. Like, can you save us? Can you save our democracy? And to a person and to an organization, no. They either can't, or they won't, or they're complicit. So who's there to save our democracy? Us. It's been up to us. It's been up to us the last 8 freaking years, and it's going to be up to us again. Why do I say that? Because here's the guy riding into the rescue, but there is nobody riding into the rescue. Nobody's going to come in and rescue Donald Trump or his supporters. This is just, we rode to our own rescue. And this is just providing more information on it. Have we ridden enough people to rescue? Things seem rather tempered right there. The lesson to be learned is the Nine of Wands. There's more information to come. Maybe that information will be coming quickly, but there's more information to come. Donald Trump is not convinced. His energy is dwindling rapidly as his mental decline is dwindling rapidly. Will this help Kamala Harris? Yeah, it's going to help, but I just don't see it being the crushing victory. For whatever reason, Trump's still standing. Or at least, while Trump is still standing, it's not going to be the crushing victory. And the outcome is going to be the Five of Wands, the Hillbilly Brawl card. Now, that could be that, Trump gets up, has a stroke, and strokes out, and J.D. Vance, the hillbilly, has to take over. But all Trump can do at this point is rile up his base. Rile up the Trumpers, rile up the cult members, get them frothing mad so that they want to get out and vote. Literally, that is his only path to victory at this point, is to get his people so angry and so riled up that 100% of them go out to vote, and in the process try to prevent 10% of the Democrats from going out to vote. That kind of thing. Vote and then try to intimidate other people from voting. Entertainment purposes only. That's where we're at. All right, Spirit, let's wrap this already too long video up here. Last messages for the audience. What would you like to share with them around this election, the revelation of this information, and how it's impacting the overall results? Again, it's like Donald Trump is dying a death by 1,000 cuts, not any knockout blows, which is why it still seems like, and maybe it has to be this close to get people to get out and vote. Otherwise, you get complacent. Let's see what we got here. Theft, election theft, stealing. Somebody wants, the reason why they want to steal your election is they want to be the oligarchs. They want to be the nobility, and they want you to be the peasants. Choice is yours. Your values, who you're voting for. You got to make the wise choices. Because you can't trust. You cannot trust the president, Congress, the judicial system. You can't trust these people to do the job. It's already shown that, people are, their morals are flexible. J.D. Vance is the perfect example of moral flexibility. He went from calling Trump America's Hitler to being his vice presidential running mate, unable to say that Trump lost the election in 2020. They will steal. They will lie, cheat, and steal. They will do everything they can to win this election. And maybe it is a landslide election win for Kamala Harris, but all the lying, cheating, and stealing, tamps it down. The big victory that we have is going to be a small victory because of all the cheating. But you know what? A victory is a victory. Because if you got the victory, you can start making the laws. You can start changing the rules. You can start implementing the changes to make it a level playing field such that you can't cheat your way to win. And then maybe one day the Republican Party will actually come up with a platform instead of just trying to steal elections. Happy days when that happens. Might actually get some compromise going on in this country. Anyways, thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only. I hope you were entertained. I hope you found it insightful. And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.